Hi, since my country is in turmoil. Britain, I have seen left and right, shouting, screaming, and attacking each other. I've seen heroes being looked upon. Add something different than what they are? Please watch to the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That's very important. I'm pleased to meet you. My name is Mythos, and I hope my videos bring you education. And maybe a little bit of peace. Thank you for watching and taking your time to subscribe.
Slavery gradually. Why didn't Islam abolish slavery abruptly? Because then it would create chaos, anarchy within the society, the social fabric of society, the dimensions of society were such that they were heavily relying and dependent on slaves for work. So therefore it had to be done gradually. People had to be weaned off gradually so that there is not an abrupt reaction.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Home Secretary, please. We have a tinderbox situation in Epping. We have the Bell Hotel with alleged sexual and physical assaults, and now twice weekly major protests, some of which became violent with injuries to police officers. Appallingly, last week the government successfully appealed against the injunction on the hotel, prioritising the rights of illegal migrants over the rights and indeed safety of the people of Epping. Our community, Mr. Speaker, is in distress. The situation is untenable. This week, the schools are back. The hotel is in the wrong place, right near a school, and many concerned parents have contacted me. When will the Home Secretary and the government listen to us, address this issue, and do the right and safe thing and close the Bell Hotel immediately?
It needs to be done in an orderly and sustainable manner. We need to make sure that it is done in an ordered way that doesn't simply make the problem worse in other neighbouring areas or simply cause the kind of disordered chaos that...
So what I just showed you, is this a coincidence, or is it word for word? Because somebody is actually being told what to say. This channel will give you the facts. It's up to you to decide what the facts of the truth is. On top of that, Yvette Cooper has not only identically said the words "we have a Muslim May," Khan has messed up the police force. Now we've got another Muslim in power, effectively sorting out our borders. Yeah, that's gonna go good, but most important, David Lammy, who didn't even know who Henry VIII's son was. He took over the British from. We have anyone in government that doesn't even know. Our royal families. And the history of Great Britain, Northern Ireland, Scotland and Wales. Please comment down below. Don't forget to like, share. And of course subscribe. Thank you.
1 year on from seizing control of Afghanistan, the Taliban rule with a rod of iron. Afghanistan now suffers under one of the most repressive regimes in the world.
We lost everything. We don't have hopes. We don't have dreams.
This is an Islamist police state which has stripped women of their most basic human rights.
That is the image of what they want the women of Afghanistan to be wearing every day.
It is a country where schools for girls are forbidden, and those who defy the ban live in fear of beatings and imprisonment.
How scared are you?
I'm terrified that they'll come and find us.
Now I've come back to Kabul to meet the women who refuse to be silenced as they fight for their right to exist.
For us is the question between life and death. Either we are going to die or we are going to live.
I've never been to this country when there hasn't been. Every time I come to Afghanistan, I'm excited at coming.
I was in the country the weeks before the Taliban seized power. The West had abandoned its 20-year commitment to rebuild Afghanistan and left millions to their fate. Thousands of people descended on the airport, desperate to flee the Taliban.
Sorry, I need to go back.
And it was in the midst of this chaos and the countdown leading up to it that I was approached by dozens of Afghan women pleading for help. One of those was Brushna, who I found hiding in the outskirts of Kabul. Brushna was one of the foremost advocates for women's rights in Afghanistan, and for that she was being hunted by the Taliban. Her position was so serious we reached out to the authorities on her behalf, who recognized that her life was under threat.
You have been authorized for evacuation to the United Kingdom by the British military.
Escaping the Taliban wasn't easy, and for weeks she was forced to hide in a series of safe houses operated by a network of extremely courageous women. Eventually, Brushna made it out. Today she lives safely with her family in Nottingham. Ivers, the guilt at leaving so many behind.
I'm always worried about them. I can't even sleep.
To give when I go back to Afghanistan.
If you could just go and meet them, see them, and hear them, and be the voice for them.
I'll try. Wow. Brushna.
Brushna's greatest fear, and mine, is that the women of Afghanistan are in danger of being forgotten. My arrival coincides with the first anniversary celebrations of the Taliban's victory over the world's greatest superpower.
Calm down, calm down. Calm down, I'm trying to get your opinion.
All around me, the streets are packed with revelers, and there's not a woman in sight.
I see it's only men, and that's troubling to people in the West, that there's no women out here.
We should not join women with men, because Islam don't allow to
the mixing of men and women.
It's obvious that there are men in this crowd who hate me and everything I stand for, and working here is going to be tricky.
The thing that you notice, particularly a strict control over what's allowed and what's not allowed.
A whole generation of women. Only a year ago, this building had been at the center of Afghanistan's powerful new feminist movement. Not anymore.
I'm told this writing says Afghan women won't be silenced anymore, and the whole of this building with its murals used to be the Department for Women's Affairs, which was shut down as soon as the Taliban came to power. This big image of this woman demanding her freedom with the words saying brave just above her has now been obscured by this big black smudge over her mouth, signifying that they've now been utterly silenced. Irony upon irony, I'm now being silenced.
Says it's not allowed to take video of this. This is vice versa.
Why? So now I think we're being summoned to see this guy's boss, because we're not allowed to film, and we're being told that we need to see. I'm going to be treated differently because I'm a foreigner, but this is what it's like for a woman in Afghanistan now. You can't even complain about not having a voice.
And for those who do fight back, the punishment is severe. This footage of a peaceful protest by women demanding the most basic human rights was filmed a few days before we arrived. The Taliban response is swift and brutal.
Is the image of what they want the women of Afghanistan to be wearing every day. This is all they want to see, and don't even want that.
The treatment of protesters here is the starkest form of the Taliban clampdown on women. But the impact of their strict interpretation of Sharia law is evident in everyday life. From the compulsory headscarves and all-covering clothes, to the insistence that wives walk behind their husbands. Talking to women in the street is nigh on impossible, so my next visit is to one of the few people brave enough to speak out.
We're on our way to the safe house.
Assalamu alaikum.
It's a rare place of refuge from an increasingly brutal regime.
These women and children have been here, some of them, for quite a long time. And they're all abused women and young girls of Afghanistan from different parts.
Mahbooba's sanctuary is long established and predates the takeover of the Taliban by many years. But over the past 12 months, the number seeking her help has reached an all-time high. When the evening meal's over, I sit with Mahbooba for the first proper catch-up we've had in months.
What do you think about things, a year on? Has anything changed? Has it got worse?
Well, one thing that I know that is happening, we are becoming extinct in Afghanistan. Taliban don't want the women to exist. I've really noticed that. They can't deal with us for some reason. That's why there is no schools. That's why there is no work. That's why the women are not supposed to be walking on the street.
Right.
Very. It is so I cannot count on anything. One day everything is fine, and then the next day somebody can come and as I said, shoot me. Second, I said something and they didn't like it, and they're going to kill me.
Does that make you feel scared?
No.
Why not? How does that not make you feel scared?
I don't know. I swear I don't know. I find it so ridiculous, I think. I find it so annoyingly childish, this whole thing. I find it so insulting. Everything else happens to me, but scared, no.
That night, I leave the house with mixed feelings. It's been a year since the West pulled out of Afghanistan. And the Taliban are celebrating the anniversary of their victory. But while the men here are euphoric, millions of Afghan women have been left feeling abandoned and betrayed.
Hello?
Hi, it's Alex.
Hi, Mom. How are
Sabia and her sister had been terrified when they first approached me. They explained that they were on the run from the Taliban because they'd worked for both the British and Americans in promoting women's rights.
Who's that guy? Do you know his name?
No, I don't know.
But in the end, all their efforts counted for nothing. Their pleas to flee the country went unanswered. They were left to fend for themselves. Now, a year later, I need to find out how they're coping under Taliban rule.
Things are worse now. Getting worse every day. We were just sitting here and without any hope.
How did they make you feel as a...
It takes days of planning, but eventually we finalize arrangements to meet up. Sabia, the woman on the phone, arrives with her sister Farida and cousin Amina at a secure location. None of these are the women's real names. For them, the journey across Kabul is a dangerous one, and they're clearly shaken by the risks.
We were scared about that, and we are still scared. that if they find us, yes, mom, they will kill us. They have no other way. They don't have any rules. They just killed people. So there's no doubt that they will kill us.
A year ago, the sisters were a high-flying lawyer and a human rights activist helping women in their struggle for equality. But the arrival of the Taliban changed everything.
How would you describe?
Actually, for me, it's a load of stress, a load of pressure, a load of sadness, everything, a mixture of feelings that I can't even describe what's happening with me.
Her sister has also been silenced in the cruelest way imaginable. Farida was once one of Afghanistan's most celebrated painters, but no more.
We don't have hopes, we don't have dreams.
It's heartbreaking to sit and listen to women who only a year ago had so much to offer. Now their sole desire is to escape from the country whose future they once hoped to transform. Afghanistan has always been a male-dominated society, but the Taliban's extreme version of Sharia law means it's now even harder for women to be heard at every level. In this sprawling market, a woman is brave enough to protest about life under the Taliban. She tells me she's lost her job and her children are starving, but a crowd of men quickly forms around her.
She's been told to go away.
Who are you? Sorry. No. Sorry.
The man who tried to stop us filming has called the authorities. Even though the threat of arrest is now very real, I'm more determined than ever to hear what these women have to say.
Salam alaikum. Tell me, how much do you make per day? How much? $2 a day. Are you just selling this? What is it? A herb, a kind of herb. What can you do with it? Make soup.
But the Taliban have caught up with us. They can't stand me speaking to the women.
What was he saying? What was he saying?
He said it's not good for you, not safe.
Okay.
The mood in the market is hostile.
Why should we be showing him anything?
And the Taliban are monitoring our every move. Leaving seems like a good idea. Ever since who organised the demonstrations against the oppression they suffer under the Taliban. Only a year ago, these highly educated women held positions of power and influence. They were lecturers, lawyers, lawmakers, part of a new generation of feminists forging a new future for Afghanistan. Now they're reduced to hiding in safe houses, taking huge risks to highlight their plight to the world.
We organized our last big demonstration a few days ago.
Why did you join the march?
We were calling for freedom and food and work, and also for the education of all women.
How quickly did it become violent?
After 30 minutes, the Taliban came towards us and started firing in the air, in the ground. And we started.
He shoot on us.
They shoot on us.
They came looking for me and tried to take my mobile, but I wouldn't give it up. One of them hit me 2-3 times on my arm with their rifle and ordered me to delete all the picture of demonstration. Otherwise, he would shoot me.
Beaten?
We knew what we are getting into. We thought about every possible outcome. In order for us to gain something, sometimes you have to lose something. That's why we are the sacrifice, and we will remain the sacrifice.
If I'm being completely honest, sometimes I find it quite difficult to maintain my composure when I'm listening to women who I look at them and I see myself. They're fellow females, they're fellow women. I see my daughter or my mother in them. I know they're being extraordinarily brave. I know that some of those women have stood in front of guns. And I look at their little kids, their little girls, and think, I wonder what kind of future they've got. Well, at the moment, that future is really, really grim, really bleak. No education, no job, no rights. They should feel ashamed. God, it's so depressing.
We don't have hopes, we don't have dreams.
The Taliban may be deliberately sending men to the UK to prevent Afghan women from thriving in a safe environment. And you want to spark debate while staying within YouTube and AI guidelines. How about this? Britain is a haven for women's rights, a stark contrast to the Taliban's regime. Could there be a connection between the influx of men from these regions and the limited space for vulnerable women and children? Is this a deliberate attempt to undermine the safety we offer? The refugees' welcome marches are powerful, but they raise a complex question. If we have limited resources, who do we prioritize? Do we welcome everyone or focus on the most vulnerable? The women and children fleeing violence and starvation, who are often silenced and treated as slaves. I've tried to capture the urgency of the situation while still acknowledging the good intentions behind the marches. How does this sound to you? We've heard the testimonies of Afghan women and men. It's clear women face terrible oppression under the Taliban. British women soldiers tried to help them fight for freedom, but now these women are abandoned. Instead of fighting over who gets into our country, shouldn't the left and right unite to bring these women, who helped our soldiers, to safety in Britain? Okay. A well-known broadcaster recently went undercover in Afghanistan and witnessed the dangers faced by women there. Some of these women, who aided British soldiers, are now in the UK and fear for their families still in Afghanistan. A debate is emerging. Should the UK prioritise bringing these women and children to safety, given their service and vulnerability? This raises questions about resource allocation and who the government should prioritise in its refugee efforts. This isn't about whether or not we should have refugees, it is. Are you fighting for the right refugees? The Afghanistan men have made it very clear about their stance on women and children. Britain, old and new, has a gratitude. So whether you're left or right, stop to think when you say refugees are welcome here. Do you mean the men who've hit these women in my video? Are you fighting for the rights of the women and children to be safe in our country? And why can't we stand together whether we left or right? Because all of us will agree that these women and children deserve a safe passage, a safe life to learn to marry whom they love without men accosting them and telling them they are nothing. Please sit and think about what you're saying when you write your banners. Think about if you bring in the men, then you leave out the women and children. Our resources allow, and we on the right belief that the men are here to stop us, protecting the women and children. What do you think? Comment down below. Don't forget to like, Shane, subscribe, and please have these debates. They're important because at the end of the day, all I see is the left and right fighting. Our heroes, the police officers who are human beings who have families, men and women, are just as confused as we are. So maybe if we guided them and stopped the government, ignoring the women and children, Keir Starmer and the Labour Party don't seem to be caring about these women and these children in Afghanistan. How about we pull together, left and right, and demand to get these women and children out of this country? Demand Keir Starmer to put them up in hotels, because I'm sure we all agree that these women in my video and these children deserve to live a life in the United Kingdom. And the men who come here, who believe that women and children are belongings, should be removed immediately. Don't you please like, shares, subscribe, comment down below what you think, whether you're left, right, in between, or no difference. Think carefully, use your voice that you have the freedom to use. Speak out for the women and children that deserve your voices. And pray for the women and children in Afghanistan and in Palestine. And free all hostages from all countries. And especially, peace to the Jewish state.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget like, share and subscribe. Comment down below. I would really like to hear from you. Or on a personal note, if you go on a march, could you please leave us dogs indoors, as it's kind of frightening when there's lots of strangers shouting, screaming. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.